8 years, 6 months, and 25 days with Quinn. We broke up. The reason was simple. While watching me eat, he placed his phone face down on the table. The muffled vibrations sounded like a countdown to the end of our relationship. I set down my fork. Quinn, let's break up. Across the table, he seemed to exhale in relief. He didn't even pretend to ask why. Just, okay. Finally, he could stop pretending. All because of that vow he'd made in high school, in front of teachers and classmates. Back then, Stella had declared, "I'll never be the one to say goodbye." I understood now. He'd been waiting for me to end it. It took him less than 10 minutes to pack his things, as if he'd long rehearsed in his mind what to keep and what to discard. Just like our relationship, the cracks had been showing for ages. Yet he'd clung to that teenage promise, playing the perfect boyfriend with meticulous care. But what the body performs, the heart cannot fake. I'd noticed his unconscious smile when unlocking his phone. How? He'd recommend a different brand of pads at the store, murmuring better leakage protection with rehearsed concern. He even took up cooking. None of it was food I liked. I watched him slowly untangle himself from loving me. Finally, when he even forgot my mother's death anniversary, I said we should break up. And he agreed without hesitation. So quickly, I thought it must be an illusion. Less than an hour after the breakup, a friend sent me his announcement video with his new girlfriend. My grip on the phone tightened unconsciously. So it was her, that new intern at the company, Zhou Weiwei, Vivian, who used to follow me around every day, sweetly calling me Stella. Stella, I don't understand this report. Could you teach me? Stella, don't worry about your business trip. I'll take care of your cat. Oh, Stella, just go already. Your boyfriend's just in the hospital for a stomachache. How fragile can he be? I'll bring him food, all right? I stared at the cold meal in front of me, its surface congealed with a thick layer of grease. A wave of nausea surged in my chest. I rushed to the bathroom and vomited until my vision blurred. Disgusting. So disgusting. I took 3 days off from the company. After Quinn left, I vomited again. At first, I thought it was just my body reacting to the double betrayal of my boyfriend and my so-called friend. But later, even when I was clearing the dishes, the smell of fish made me retch all over again. With a sinking feeling, I went downstairs to buy a pregnancy test. Those 2 glaring lines made my vision darken. Pathetic, isn't it? Just 2 weeks ago, Quinn had been pulling me into bed, taking me wildly through the night. He'd whispered, "Stella, let's have a child." That time, we hadn't used protection. How cruelly ironic. I closed my eyes. It took me 3 days to barely come to terms with Quinn having left me. My hand drifted unconsciously to my abdomen. "I'm sorry, my unexpected child. You were never meant for this world." Friends invited me out tonight, asking if I'd join their gathering. 3 days cooped up at home had nearly suffocated me with gloom. Some fresh air might do me good, I thought, but I never expected that he'd bring his new girlfriend to the party, using the occasion to humiliate me. "Stella, I consider our chapter closed. Vivi's different. Innocent and sensitive. Don't bring your business tactics here to bully her." I set my wine glass down with deliberate calm. This was beyond pathetic. When Quinn delivered those lines, the room fell silent. All our mutual friends stared at me with pained embarrassment. I raised my eyes to Quinn, as if this man who had accompanied me for 8 years was suddenly a stranger. When I glanced over, Vivian trembled like a startled rabbit and hid behind him. Quinn frowned in response, shielding her protectively. "Stella, this isn't the company. Don't bully the new girl with your usual tactics." Huh, I let out a dry laugh, setting down my glass. I casually grabbed my coat from the chair back. "The bill's settled. Enjoy the rest of your night. I'll take my leave." As I brushed past them, I caught Quinn giving me an inscrutable look. While waiting for my driver at the entrance, my phone buzzed. "Stella, you're a reasonable person. I hope our situation won't affect Vivian's work. Don't make things difficult for her at the company." Seeing my car approach, I pocketed my phone without changing expression. Vivian was the company's new intern, fresh out of college. She worked with nervous diligence, yet still stumbled occasionally. I'd been stern with her, But sometimes when I found her sniffling alone in some corner, my heart would ache. She reminded me so much of my younger self first navigating this world. So I took her under my wing. When she lacked suitable outfits for client meetings, I'd quietly cover the cost. I'd even brought Vivian along on dates with Quinn, just so the girl could enjoy decent meals. But when did I first notice Quinn changing right under my nose? Was it when Quinn fell ill during my business trip, and I asked her to deliver cold medicine to him? Or was it those times Quinn was hospitalized for stomach pains while I was swamped with a major deal, when she volunteered to bring him homemade meals every day? I hadn't the slightest suspicion. I mistook those unspoken understandings between Quinn and Vivian as mere shared interests. But none of it matters now. After a night of fitful sleep at home, my work alarm rang right on schedule. Such is the adult world. Even when your world collapses, grief comes with an expiration date. No sick days allowed. Today, even if the heavens flood, I must carry on like normal. I studied my reflection. Dark crescents hung heavy beneath my eyes. Yet, for today's promotion dinner, I still dressed meticulously. The director had resigned a month ago, recommending me to the vice president before leaving. By yesterday, the probation period ended. Reading between the VP's words, my promotion announcement would come today. The news had already spread through group chats yesterday, with colleagues jokingly demanding a celebration feast. We'd all agreed, dinner at that new viral restaurant. My treat. Yet, when I entered the company, everyone was looking at me with ambiguous expressions. When I glanced back, they all averted their eyes. I frowned. Sure enough, the moment I sat down, Vivian strode in wearing a designer suit, her steps light and buoyant. Two colleagues trailed behind her, their hands full with takeaway coffee cups. She clapped her hands triumphantly. You've all worked hard lately. Nobody leaves after work today. My treat. With that, the two colleagues began distributing the coffee to everyone. Cups were handed out until each person had one. Conveniently, mine was left out. I was beginning to understand what was happening. Vivian feigned surprise upon noticing me and said apologetically, "Oh, Stella, you're here too. My bad. I thought you weren't coming in today, so I didn't get you a coffee." She stepped closer and extended her own cup. "I haven't touched mine yet. If you don't mind, Stella, you can have this one." Before I could refuse, she shoved the cup into my hands. But the moment my fingers made contact, she let go. With a loud crash, the coffee exploded across the floor. "Stella, what's wrong with you?" Before I could speak, someone shoved me hard. A man shielded Vivian as they stepped back, his eyes brimming with concern. "Are you all right? Did it burn you?" "Oh no, Manager Stella got hurt," a colleague exclaimed. As Quinn instinctively glanced at my hand, Vivian gently tugged at Quinn's sleeve, her glistening eyes brimming with tears that seemed ready to spill at any moment. "I'm fine. Don't blame Stella. She just lost her grip. It wasn't intentional. Don't be upset with her, really." Quinn calmly averted his gaze and patted Vivian's head. "You're too kind-hearted. Someone with your naivety will get taken advantage of." Vivian gazed at Quinn with sparkling eyes and playfully stuck out her tongue. Their conversation drifted further away. I watched them silently. So, this is how love shifts. After all, the same Quinn who doted on me just days ago could transfer the very same affection to someone else in the blink of an eye. After work hours, I sat in the vice president's office. I've served the company diligently for 7 years. From its early days as a 3-person startup to what it's become today, every step of growth bears my imprint. To me, the director position is rightfully earned. The vice president massaged his temples wearily. "I know you're a key contributor, but you must understand." He paused, then continued as if steeling himself. "You know quantum tech has handed us a golden opportunity. This deal alone could save us 5 years of hard work. Stella, you can't fight City Hall. You understand what I mean?" I lower my gaze. "So that's how it is." Yet my hands resting on my lap trembled uncontrollably. I knew the vice president was in a difficult position too. To avoid losing my composure there, I nodded and left the office. It was already quitting time, and colleagues were leaving the company in 2s and 3s. Sitting in a bathroom stall, I finally broke down. If Quinn's abrupt breakup had at least allowed me to maintain outward composure, then seeing Vivian handed the director position through Quinn's sheer influence shattered me completely. He knew damn well how many years I'd poured into earning that role. I'd barely slept this past month. Yet, at the final moment, it was Quinn who stabbed me in the back. Do you think manager Stella will attend director Vivian's celebration dinner? Who knows? But if she does, it'll be quite the spectacle. True, what a tragic turn of events. Why the pity? When she was the heir's girlfriend, the company fawned over her. Now that he's bored, of course she has to surrender the director title. Outside, two voices gossiped while washing their hands. What? Bored of her? Haven't you heard? Director Vivian said it was the heir who claimed, holding her hand, felt like the spark is gone. Might as well use your own hand instead of sleeping with her, right? Ha ha ha. With a loud clang, I yanked the restroom stall door open. The two turned pale when they saw me, and manager Stella, I walked to the sink and washed my hands with deliberate slowness. What? You two want to try young Master Quinn's hand too? They shoved each other before bolting away, their frantic footsteps fading into the distance. TCH, acting all high and mighty, I pulled out a cigarette and lit it. The exhaled smoke curled and dissipated before me. Quinn will always be Quinn. When he loves someone, he spoils them rotten. Yet just moments earlier, he'd told me not to use my position to make things difficult for Vivian. But in the blink of an eye, he flexes his power to pressure me. And this goddamn society is just one giant fucking joke. As I exited the company, a luxury car was brazenly parked at the entrance. I knew this vehicle all too well. It was Quinn's car. Spotting me, he leaned against the door with a cigarette and beckoned. I hesitated mid-step, but ultimately approached. Only when I got closer did I realize Vivian was sitting in the passenger seat all along. Those were the days. The seat that once belonged solely to me. Countless times before, she had stood where I now stood, gazing enviously at me in the passenger seat, saying, "Stella, your boyfriend treats you so well. Stella, you should watch out for those little temptresses. Don't let them steal your man. Don't worry, I'll keep an eye out for you." Then one day, after work, I saw Quinn's car parked downstairs. I thought he'd come to pick me up, until Vivian breezed past me like a gust of wind and instinctively reached for the passenger door. I couldn't help but call out Vivian's name. She froze visibly, then awkwardly shut the door. "Oh, Stella," she said. "I thought you were already in the car." Then she linked arms with me, claiming she'd assumed I was inside and wanted to ask me to dinner after work. Quinn's expression was equally uncomfortable. That flicker of unease and suspicion soon faded. Looking back now, I wasn't just foolish. I was foolish and utterly oblivious. Noticing my approach, Vivian smiled and nodded. "Stella." I glanced at the passenger seat. The entire car's upholstery had been replaced. The original gray leather was now pink, and a small cushion adorned the passenger headrest. Even the good luck charm I kowtowed 9 times to obtain for Quinn from the temple was gone from the passenger seat, replaced by a pair of ceramic swans with entwined necks. The dashboard was now plastered with photo booth pictures of Quinn and Vivian. Beside the photos, a tiny label read, "Reserved for Queen Vivian." Vivian watched me surveying the car's interior and gave a light laugh. "Sorry, Stella. Old things should be thrown away. Don't you agree? See how cute our photo booth pictures turned out." I chuckled faintly. "Just changing the interior? You should have Quinn buy you a brand new car." Vivian's expression darkened. I continued, "Then again, maybe you prefer cars I've sat in. After all, you've picked up every man I've used. What's one car between us?" "You." Vivian bit her lip, glaring at me with a stormy expression. I ignored her, shifting my gaze to Quinn instead. Before I could speak, his conflicted eyes met mine. "It's Vivian's promotion dinner tonight. You wouldn't skip it, would you?" My heart clenched. A needle-sharp pain radiated through my entire body. I smiled bitterly. I understood then. He'd come out of guilt. How foolish of me to imagine that he'd feel remorse. I turned away without a word. "Stella, Mr. Vance hasn't called me today." Quinn's words successfully halted my steps. "Mr. Vance, my most important client, the very client I'd secured only after a week of drinking myself senseless, until I collapsed with a perforated ulcer. Back then, when Quinn learned I'd pushed myself to that point for a single deal, he was furious. Furious that I refused to rely on him, stubbornly dragging in clients on my own. He was, after all, the eldest son of the Quinn family. A single word from him could have made me the top performer in the company's sales division. Yet I always refused, because I believed, no, insisted, that we were separate individuals. If even my career had to depend on Quinn's connections, how was I any different from a caged canary? Back then, Quinn found me utterly unmanageable, so he seized every chance to cross paths with Mr. Vance, casually hinting at our relationship. At the time, I was livid. He shouldn't have interfered. But after his usual mix of wheedling and puppy dog eyes, my resolve crumbled. Later, Quinn discreetly did Mr. Vance a few small favors. Eventually, they even became something like friends. Back then, though angry, I believed Quinn had stooped to mingle with that nouveau riche solely for my sake. In the end, I was still moved. Little did I know, every gesture he'd made would later become the dagger he'd turn against me. That year, Mr. Vance asked Stella when we'd be serving wedding wine. Tell me, should I inform him we've already broken up? I froze mid-step. I recognized this for what it was, a threat. If I skipped Vivian's promotion dinner, he'd hand my biggest client over to Vivian. I glanced at the passenger seat, noticing my gaze. Vivian lowered her phone and curled her lips at me. She didn't even need to step out of the car. Quinn would move heaven and earth for her. His favoritism had always been brazen. When he loved me, he'd have laid the world at my feet. But love faded. Now, he could grind my dignity into the mud without hesitation. At the promotion dinner, they kept filling my glass. Some were even juniors I'd mentored, now exchanging knowing looks with Vivian. When my eyes met theirs, they averted their gazes. Seeing others set down their drinks, Vivian actually rose from her seat herself. Stella, I owe you so much. Without your guidance, I could never have established myself at the company. And Quinn, Vivian cast a bashful glance over her shoulder at him. We wouldn't even have met if not for you. Thank you, Stella. My hands trembled beneath the table. A dull ache pulsed through my abdomen. Instinctively, I pressed a hand to my stomach. Excuse me, I'm not feeling well. The pain intensified, accompanied by a sudden warmth between my legs. I needed to check myself in the restroom, but Quinn drawled deliberately. Miss Stella, are you slighting my girlfriend? Everyone present knew Quinn had once been my boyfriend. Now, witnessing him shielding his current lover, their faces lit up with voyeuristic glee. I shook my head as waves of agony racked my body, drenching me in cold sweat. Before I could finish, Quinn took out his phone and dialed. Mr. Vance. It's me. Excellent. Let's meet later. Hanging up, he waved the phone at me tauntingly. An observant colleague produced 5 glasses, filling each with Baijiu. Come now, Stella, toast our new director Vivian. When I remained silent, my colleague nudged the glass closer. Come on, Stella, don't keep us waiting. After all, you're not getting any younger, yet you've achieved so little at the company. Don't tell me you're jealous of Director Vivian's promotion just because she's young? Ha ha ha. The moment she finished speaking, others chimed in like an orchestrated chorus. Drink up. Don't keep Director Vivian waiting. Vivian gave them a mock scolding. Stop it. You'll make Stella uncomfortable. As if you weren't all egging me on to pressure Stella into drinking, she added coyly. Then she clung to Quinn's arm, swaying playfully. All right, I know you're protective of me. Stella was quite strict with me before, but that's all in the past now. The tables have turned, so don't be too hard on Stella. As Vivian's words hung in the air, Quinn, who had seemed indifferent, turned an icy gaze toward me. He tilted his chin slightly. Drink. The room fell dead silent. Some even pulled out their phones discreetly, eager to capture the moment. I took a deep breath. I knew if I refused tonight, by tomorrow, I might not even have a job left. When under someone's roof, one must bow their head. I closed my eyes and downed each glass of baijiu, one after another. By the last glass, I could no longer hold myself upright. The tumbler slipped from my hand onto the table, then clattered to the floor. The liquor, of course, splashed everywhere. My head throbbed violently then, as if someone were hammering at it with brutal, methodical strikes. Through the haze, I thought I saw Quinn sneer before lining up 5 fresh glasses on the table. They were promptly filled to the brim with baijiu. Again, his ruthlessness left the room in stunned silence. Only Vivian remained poised, chin lifted, yet her eyes brimmed with vicious delight. The way she looked at me, you'd think she'd spotted a drowning mutt. Gritting through the pain, I suddenly laughed. To hell with men, to hell with this job. I seized 2 glasses and hurled them straight at Quinn. What the? Are you insane? Vivian, standing practically flush against Quinn, caught the worst of it. Her blouse soaked through at the chest. Quinn, I spat, the greatest regret of my life was ever meeting you. Back in high school, when his illegitimate lineage got exposed, he'd fled New York to lay low. That bleach blonde troublemaker not only stirred up constant drama, but even tried his hand at romance. It was my mother, his homeroom teacher. It took her 2 full years to steer his life back on track. Later, she not only tutored him daily, but had him eat every meal at our house. That's when he and I became fast friends. During our time together, he once said, my mother was like a second mom to him. The cruel irony, within a few years of her passing, he'd forgotten even the date of her death anniversary. Quinn fixed me with a stare, jaw clenched as he nodded. Fine. He pulled out his phone and dialed. Mr. Vance? Yes, it's me. Perfect. Let's share a drink later. I'll introduce you to my girlfriend. No, the new one. You'll recognize her, right? See you then. Only after hanging up did Quinn finally look my way. Stella, I hope you won't come begging. Phone pocketed. He rose with Vivian's hand in his, smiling at the group. Apologies. We've another engagement. Enjoy the meal. I've already settled the bill. The last thread holding me together suddenly snapped. The room spun as someone gasped. As darkness swallowed me, one thought remained. Stella, you're such a failure. In the end, you still ended up with nothing. In the dream, I seemed to return to my high school days. Quinn would walk to and from classes with me, sharing meals from the same pot. Finally, the moment I agreed to be his girlfriend, he said, back then, Stella had declared, I'll never be the one to say goodbye. Stella, I understand now. His entire lifetime was just 8 years. But Quinn, do you know, those who betray true hearts must swallow 10,000 silver needles? Beep, beep, beep. When I opened my eyes, everything was white. Sensing weight between my legs, I looked down, only to find Quinn gripping my hand tightly, unshaven and asleep by the bedside. The moment I stirred, he jolted awake. You're awake? As he spoke, he instinctively reached to touch my forehead. I flinched reflexively. His hand hesitated, but the warmth still pressed against my skin. Then it withdrew just as quickly, avoiding my gaze as if fearing disgust. He murmured, Good, the fever's gone. Strangely, seeing the concern in Quinn's eyes now only made me nauseous. Remembering something, my right hand suddenly moved to my abdomen. Quinn's expression visibly stiffened before he said, with deliberate nonchalance, Stella, I'm sorry about the baby. My eyes burned as I shut them tightly. Quinn, you absolute bastard. During my hospital stay, Quinn scarcely left the ward. He kept vigil by my bedside daily. Sometimes his phone would ring incessantly, yet he wouldn't even glance at it. As for me, I certainly wasn't foolish enough to send him away. After all, no nurse could match his attentiveness. The doctors said the miscarriage had severely damaged my health, requiring meticulous recovery. One evening, half asleep, I heard raised voices outside my door. I knew Vivian must have tracked him down. After days of failed contact, she was probably frantic. Vivian's shrill voice pierced through. Is she that desperate for a man? You're my boyfriend now. If she's so needy, she should sell herself. How dare? Smack. Enough. Watch your filthy mouth. Vivian. I smirked coldly, tuning out the rabid squabble outside. Then my phone buzzed. Heard about the baby. Condolences. Want to collaborate? I couldn't help but smirk at the message from an unknown number on my phone. Sure. How about 10 billion? The reply came in just 2 words. Deal. I chuckled before turning off my phone. Time to sleep. The doctor finally cleared me for discharge a week later. After leaving the hospital, Quinn not only hired a caretaker for me, but even set aside the company's affairs to stay by my side frequently. I neither accepted nor resisted this arrangement. I simply acted as if he didn't exist. Sometimes he'd try to reminisce about our past together, but I'd pretend not to hear, facing my silence. Quinn would often gaze at me with vacant eyes. 8 years, he used to be my entire world. Whenever we fought, I was always the first to yield, because I believed we loved each other. Why waste time on anger, cold wars, or petty conflicts? But after losing the baby, I treated him like air. No arguments, no outbursts, as if he'd vanished from existence. Finally, one drunken night a month later, Quinn broke down, clutching me while sobbing uncontrollably. Stella, let's make this work, okay? You don't understand. When I saw you collapse with blood running down your legs, I almost thought I'd lost you forever. At that moment, the world seemed to spin violently. I could barely even draw breath. Stella, I was a bastard. I was wrong. Let's make this work, okay? We'll get married. We can still have children. Please? I've been a fool. I convinced myself I didn't love you anymore. But in that moment, I realized how terribly mistaken I was. It wasn't that I stopped loving you. You'd become part of me, like water to a fish. Without you, I'm nothing. Stella, I listened to the man's choked sobs. His revolting breath hit my neck, raising goosebumps across my skin. I turned and slapped him across the face. Get out. It was the first thing I'd said to him in a month. Quinn moved out. I dismissed the housekeeper too. To my surprise, the company messaged asking when I'd return to work. Stella, your position has been kept open for you. Your performance speaks for itself. The director role is rightfully yours. Just come back, and it's yours. I silently blocked the CEO, then submitted my resignation letter. But the moment my resignation went through, Vivian Zhou came storming over. The door shuddered under her pounding. Stella, you bitch, get out here. You old hag, how dare you steal my man? Homewrecker, come out here. Vivian pounded on the door. When I didn't respond, she started kicking it instead. You filthy mistress, get out here. Are all the men in this city taken? You're digging through my trash. How dare you make him break up with me? How dare you? Do you know how long I struggled to secure that position? Now the company's throw me out. Open the door. Open it. The security camera captured every second of Vivian's meltdown at my doorstep. I saved the footage and sent it to Quinn. The commotion outside stopped within minutes. Through the camera feed, I watched Quinn grab Vivian's arm and drag her stumbling away. I developed a passion for handmade leather craft, belts, handbags, even dress shoes. Soon after, I opened a luxury boutique. Among my clientele, Quinn was undeniably the top spender, from $1 million purses to $10,000 phone charms. Within half a year, I'd made several small fortunes. One evening after closing, when some street punk harassed me, Quinn chased him off. For the first time, I gave him an approving glance. He took it as encouragement. His shopping sprees at my boutique became even more extravagant. Another year passed like this, and I finally emerged from the pain of the past. I was willing to forgive Quinn. After his initial elation, he finally pulled me into a tight embrace. Footage of Quinn watching my proposal video was captured by many and spread across the internet. Everyone thought we were the golden couple, especially in the proposal video, where Quinn had edited together every little moment from our 8 years together. My shy smile during our first date. The moment he kissed me just as the camera shutter clicked on our first photo together. Us standing at the university gates after enrolling at the same college. Then our graduation photos. Even snapshots of us checking in at trendy Hong restaurants. Hundreds of photos, big and small. Hundreds of heart-fluttering moments. Returning from the restroom, I leaned against the bar counter. I watched as Quinn stared at the video of us. His eyes rimmed red, His face wore the look of a wish fulfilled, as if, in this relationship, he'd never strayed, and I had always remained the one his heart longed for. After setting the wedding date, Quinn wanted to move back in. I refused. I've already moved all your clothes to the new house. We'll be living there after the wedding anyway. Just bear with it a little longer. Besides, I won't be home anyway since I need to visit my mother. This explanation convinced Quinn. He stayed behind to prepare for the wedding. Meanwhile, I returned to my hometown for over 10 days. I only came back the day before the wedding. I thought you were going to be a runaway bride. The moment Quinn saw me, his visible relief was palpable. After the wedding date was set, he'd clearly relaxed considerably. But as the day drew nearer with no sign of my return, Quinn grew increasingly uneasy. He tried several times to fetch me, but I'd refused each attempt. Now that I'd finally returned, his anxiety melted away. I smiled without engaging his comment. Soon came the wedding day. As I walked down the aisle toward Quinn in my couture wedding gown, I saw glistening tears shimmering in his eyes. Now, let us all witness every precious moment of this couple's love. The MC's voice faded as the venue lights dimmed. Be gentle. You're terrible. Oh, how am I terrible? The man's voice grew distinctly audible in the darkened room. You're getting married tomorrow. Yet, here you are in the new house, watching people misbehave. Isn't that terrible enough? TCH, as if this hasn't happened before. Since when did you become so delicate? The unspeakable scene unfolded amid gasps from the crowd, leaving all guests utterly dumbfounded. I saw Quinn whip his head toward me, shaking it desperately, his eyes brimming with despair. Stella, it's not what you think. Let me explain. Turn it off. Turn it off now. Hurry. A woman's shriek pierced the air. Stop filming. I said stop. Put that damn camera away. Smack. Fuck. My phone. You're paying for this. I told you all to stop recording. Every single one of you. Quinn didn't even glance at Vivian. He took a tentative step toward me. Stella. I retreated, tossing my veil and bouquet to the ground. Then my phone chimed. A transfer notification. Only after seeing the payment did I finally meet his gaze. I warned you. The greatest regret of my life was ever meeting you. I walked away without a backward glance. Quinn epilogue. After getting back together with Stella, I couldn't shake this unease. We'd broken up before, but reconciliation always left us stronger than before. This time, though, my heart hung by a thread. Perhaps because we'd lost a child this time. Perhaps it was because we'd formally broken up this time. I'd even seen Vivian with someone else. But now, I truly regretted it. I knew I no longer loved Stella. 8 years. I knew whatever love remained had nearly faded away. And just at that moment, Vivian appeared. I still remember the first time I met Vivian. It was when I picked Stella up from work. Back then, Stella always sat in the passenger seat, while Vivian would watch her with envious eyes. Later, I started seeing her more often, whether it was during movie nights with Stella, dinners, or even just picking her up from work. Vivian was always there. Things grew closer when I was hospitalized for stomach issues, right when Stella happened to be away on a business trip. Not only did Vivian bring me meals, she even stayed overnight to keep me company, though I didn't really need it. Then one day, she texted me, asking me out to dinner. I went downstairs to the company. I watched as she came bouncing down, pulling open the car door to hop in. But Stella's sudden appearance threw her off balance. Seeing her flustered like that amused me. Later, Stella was away on back-to-back business trips. Finally, one evening after dinner, as I was driving Vivian home, she kissed me. After that, things spiraled out of control. The novelty of Vivian made my predictable relationship with Stella feel increasingly stale. Countless times, I hesitated on the brink of breaking up with Stella, but whenever I saw her gazing at me with utter devotion, the words died in my throat. Then one day, I still don't know why, Stella suddenly asked to end things. A wave of euphoria washed over me, and I agreed without hesitation. That very night, Vivian took my phone and posted our official couple announcement after hearing about my breakup with Stella. Soon, everyone knew Stella and I were over. I told myself I no longer had feelings for her anyway, But when I saw Stella collapse, my world drained of color. Thankfully, she wasn't seriously hurt, except Stella had been pregnant, and then she wasn't. And I, goddamn me, became the one who'd unwittingly killed my own child. I could never forgive myself. In that moment, regret consumed me. I was scum, absolute scum. I desperately wanted to return to Stella's side, but no matter how hard I tried, she refused to acknowledge me. It dawned on me, I was truly losing her. So I began keeping vigil outside her door every day. Even after she opened her shop, I supported her through actions, not just words. At last, Stella forgave me. My marriage proposal was accepted. The wedding date was set, and day by day, I began looking forward to Stella's wedding, our wedding. But on the very night Stella returned to her hometown, Vivian showed up at my door. I had been drinking a little, and after restraining myself for over a year, I quickly succumbed to Vivian's advances. I told myself it would be my last indulgence. After marriage, I swore I would be a good partner, a devoted husband. Yet everything unraveled on the wedding day itself. A video of Vivian and me was leaked for all to see. In that moment, I knew Stella and I were finished. The scandal exploded, trending atop Rousseau by the next morning. My father stripped me of my CEO position at the company, transferring control of all subsidiaries to my half-brother. Overnight, I went from being one of the Quanye family's heirs to a discarded pawn. Stella filed for divorce. As the guilty party, I lost most of my assets to her in the settlement. Afterward, Vivian's life collapsed too, leaving her clinging desperately to me. I loathed her for destroying everything, couldn't bear the sight of her. During one car argument, she grabbed the wheel, sending us crashing into guardrails. That accident cost me half my leg. Vivian fared even worse than I did. The ceramic swan ornament from the dashboard had impaled her eye directly. Her right eye was instantly blinded. I thought, was this my karmic retribution for what I'd done to Vivian?